There are a wide variety of genres and movies that absolutely shine on the 4K format. But what about comedies? Are they worth the upgrade? Well, I'm going to answer that in this video. I've been collecting physical media for a long time, and it seems with every format generation, a certain genre comes on, or a movie in particular, that says, why is this getting an upgrade? It's happened, since the beginning, way back when. But it seems that the current 4K format is enjoying a bit of a deep dive into other genres that were not really, I would say, more visible in its early inception. Back then, of course, action movies, sci-fi, some of the big blockbusters, of course, made their way to 4K. Some of the more prolific dramas, ones directed by, auteurs such as Spielberg and Christopher Nolan, are getting 4Ks. But, every once in a while, they like to branch out into other genres. I remember not too long ago, horror was almost unheard of on 4K. It would be digital only. And in the last, I would say, 3 or 4 years, that has shifted. We've gotten a lot more horror on 4K. And I for one, really appreciate that. But it really seems in the last year or two that comedies are starting to get their due on 4K. And I'm all here for it. Now, when you think of 4K, especially if you're a home theater enthusiast, you're thinking outstanding picture and, of course, audio, especially when it comes to Dolby Atmos upgrades. We love that. But when it comes to a comedy, generally at face value, you're not going to get something that is really going to truly benefit from a audio upgrade in the form of Dolby Atmos. There are certain studios that like to give Atmos upgrades to pretty much anything, Sony being one. Movies such as Groundhog Day, and there are a lot of other movies out there that have benefited from the audio. But in this video, really, is it worth picking up a comedy on the 4K format? And not to bury the lead, but absolutely. And one of the biggest reasons that I believe comedies deserve their place on 4K is a lot of the times, many of these movies were never even given a proper previous generation physical media release, whether they never even made the jump to Blu-ray. They were given something on DVD, or even, God forbid, VHS and Laserdisc was the last time they showed up on physical media. So if you want to do it and you want to make a big impression, give it a restoration and put it out on 4K, where you have the benefits in many cases of HDR and Dolby Vision. Semi recently, Warner Brothers released Blazing Saddles on 4K, and I gotta say, it looked gorgeous on the formats. Quite frankly, the Blu-ray was very dated visually, but on 4K, it has that nice level of detail we didn't get previously. Oh, really good colors. I love how the palette looks on this one. And it's a nice, filmic grain structure. It wasn't managed too heavily from what I remember. Honestly, it's really a solid upgrade over the previous Blu-ray, and it's a classic Mel Brooks comedy. I loved it. And also recently, Paramount released Clueless on 4K. I gotta say, I was extremely impressed when I popped this in the player. Colors are just lush and vibrant. That whole 90s aesthetic, it has never looked that beautiful, quite frankly, on physical media. And the Blu-ray was okay, was fine, but it really just took it to another level with Dolby Vision. Paramount likes to employ that in their films on physical releases. I loved how Clueless looked, and I would recommend this one to anybody. And if you want to wind the clock back further, I mean, really back, Sony likes to release classic movies on physical media a lot of times, especially as part of their Columbia Classics collections. His Girl Friday, a classic comedy in black and white. I loved how this just was generally improved. This was given a restoration, if memory serves, and I think it looks great. It has that classic look to it, and it's just honestly the way to watch the film on physical media. And if you've never seen it, I do highly recommend it. And if you're somebody that likes to import their titles, I highly recommend The Nice Guys on 4K from 88 Films. I imported this one from the UK a couple months back. Beautiful transfer, really solid Atmos upgrade. And also, you get a whole bunch of extras that you aren't able to get in the version sold here in the States. Of all the major studios, Paramount seems to be really spearheading diving into their catalog with releasing a lot of these comedies on 4K. And there have been some, let's just say, not so great results. The most infamous example is going to be Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, one of my all time favorite comedies. Unfortunately, it was not given the proper love it deserves on physical media, but it's not one I can say that the digital version is any better. Honestly, the Blu-ray is probably more the exception than the rule, as better than the 4K in this case. But there are movies that have received physical releases from Paramount on 4K that look great. I mentioned Clueless a little while ago. Excellent transfer on that one. And you also have Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy, a really solid upgrade. Visually looks fantastic. I'm really hoping they release Anchorman 2 sometime in the near future. Paramount also released Major League a few years ago. Really nice visual upgrade. I watch that one at least once a year, and I'm glad that the 4K just lives up to the hype. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, classic 80s comedy, benefited from the 4K upgrade as well. Nice visual enhancement. I really liked how this one turned out on physical 4K. You also have some boutique labels that are releasing comedies on physical 4K. If you're an Adam Sandler fan, Kino Lorber is releasing and has released Billy Madison and will be releasing Happy Gilmore in the near future. And in my opinion, those are probably peak Adam Sandler comedies, and I'm glad that we're getting physical 4K upgrades. So while comedies as a genre may not be your first thought when considering a movie to pick up on physical 4K, I encourage you to actually give them more of a chance because a lot of the cases you are getting the best possible visual experience. And at the end of the day, don't we want that as physical media collectors? If we enjoy a movie, no matter the genre, we want the best possible presentation at home. I think we're only just getting started and tapping that potential of what the various studios are going to be releasing on 4K, at least in terms of comedy. But yeah, I'm very excited to see what the future holds. So now it's your turn in the comments section below to let me know what comedies that are existing on 4K you would recommend to the rest of us, and what comedies that don't have a physical 4K release would you love to see arrive on the format. Sound off down below. In the meantime, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. So until next time, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365. I will see you at the movies.